it's interesting also to notice that in the modern times, in the late 18th century, it was the French king, Louis XV, who rediscovered, if I can say, the Russophobia, because he married a Polish princess, and so he take the Polish, the Polish view of the world, very anti-Russian, in his mind. And this guy has forged a fake document called the fake testament of Peter the Great, Tsar Peter the Great. It was completely fake, but this paper, this faked paper, was saying that the mission of the Tsar was, of the heirs of Peter the Great, was to conquer the Europe, France, Germany, Italy, and so on. Completely fake, but Napoleon, because Napoleon was angry with the Tsar, they were friends, but after the divide, they had conflict, and Napoleon rediscovered this fake document and he published it in 1812 because he wanted to make a war against the Tsar, Alexander I, and he has to justify, to find a reason or to invent a reason. So he published this fake testament saying, oh, look, the mission of the historical missions of the Tsar is to conquer Germany, France, and all the Europe. So I have we have to make, as a French power, to make a preemptive war against the Russians in order to stop them, to conquer them. We have to attack Russia at first before they will attack us and conquer us. And it was the Napoleon expedition in Russia. Unfortunately for Napoleon, he was beaten, he was defeated, and he has to surrender. So that's what we can say, the emerging of the modern Russophobia through the French king and after the French Emperor Napoleon.
So
maybe I am too long, but you know, this forged document, this fake testament was after the Napoleonic Wars, was translated into English by the British ideologues, the British imperialists. Just after the Treaty of Vienna in 1815, after 1815, and why? Because after Napoleon was defeated, there were two victory nations. One was Great Britain with Nelson, you know, Trafalgar, the Battle of Trafalgar, and General Wellington, and the other victory power was Russia, the Tsar Alexander. So two victors, yes, two, and the British were very happy. Then the Russians were helping them to defeat Napoleon. But after the victory, it was a problem for them because they didn't wish to share, you know, the victory with the Russians. So they started to develop a new Russophobia inside, within Great Britain. That's the reason why they translated the fake testament of Peter the Great for saying to the British public opinion, oh, look at this document. The Russians, maybe they helped us to fight against Napoleon, but now they will to conquer, they will to be expansionist. So we have also to defend ourselves and to make the war with them. And they did it, during we can see when we read, for instance, the Times newspaper, London Times, and so on, saying this kind of forgery becoming more and more successful with some cartoons designing the Tsar as a vampire, as with big teeth, because you can see London Tower, London St. Paul Cathedral with the Tsar vampire flying on London with big teeth to suck the poor British citizen, so that kind of propaganda, and it was quite successful because what happened in 1853, the British, with the help of the French, they invade Russia and they made the first Crimean War in 1853. During 2-3 years, it was big war, quite an important war, because it was also kind of with the help of Turkey too, so 3-4 countries against Russia, as we can say now. So not yet NATO, but kind of the same partners, if we can say that. So we can say this Russophobia migrating from France to Great Britain. And it's also funny to remark that Dracula, the Dracula, the novel of Dracula, it was written, the book was written in the 1870 years. It was 1878, I think, the first publication. And Dracula was the caricature of the Tsar, because at that time, the Carpathian place where Dracula was supposed to live belonged to the Russian Empire. So it was a propaganda novel against the Russian. We have forgotten that now, because now Romania is no more Russia, but at the time it was written, this Dracula book, just as a propaganda tool against the Russian by the British imperialists from the 19th century. And after that, we can see that the Russophobia migrated from Great Britain to Germany. Why? Because at the end of the 19th century, the German Empire was built after the victory against France at the Château de Versailles in 1870. And at the time, 20 years later, Germany was completely built up, the empire was completely integrated, and the German emperor has observed, okay, we have the empire, we are the first power in continental Europe, but we have no colonies. So it's unjust, because everybody in the world has colonies in Africa, in Asia, and so on, but we have nothing. The Spanish of Latin America, the British and the French Africa, the Holland has Indonesia, Malaysia, but we have nothing. So, but everything is occupied. We have something, maybe some countries in Africa, but that's not enough. And they developed the idea of German expansion in the Eastern Europe, in Ukraine and in Russia. And that's why they developed a new kind of Russophobia, German Russophobia, saying, oh, our Lebensraum, our vital space will be in Eastern Europe. And we can see the German propagandists, the German ideologists, the German geopolitician developing this Drang nach Osten, in German language, this push to the east, to translate, Drang nach Osten, in Ukraine and Germany. And Hitler, the German emperor, tried to do it during the First World War, and Hitler took these same ideas and transformed that into a racist one, and he tried to do it during the Second World War. But unfortunately, or fortunately, Germany, or Nazi Germany, was defeated in 1945. So the dream of Hitler collapsed by chance, and it collapsed thanks to the Soviets, thanks to the Russians, the USSR. And in the 1945, we have exactly the same pictures as we had in 1850 after the Napoleonic